Tonight, you're invited somewhere quiet, somewhere above the noise of the world, to a rooftop garden cafe where the rain falls gently, lanterns glow softly, and every breath begins to slow down. This is a place made for tired minds, for overthinkers, for anyone who just needs a peaceful night. So find a comfortable spot, let the sound of the rain hold you, and allow this sleep story to guide you gently toward rest. You're safe here, you're welcome here, and you don't have to think about anything anymore. Just relax and let the night take care of you. Rain has a way of softening the world. It smooths the edges of busy thoughts, washes away noise that lingers in the air, and leaves behind a quiet the heart understands. Tonight, somewhere above the winding streets of the city, there is a rooftop garden cafe where the rain has arrived like a kind visitor, unhurried, calm, and endlessly patient. You step through the stairwell door, and the first thing you notice is the shimmer on the floor. Tiny droplets gather into silver threads, trailing along the tiles toward planters filled with herbs, trailing vines, and gently glowing lanterns. The soft patter overhead sounds like a lullaby playing against the canopy, steady and comforting, perfectly in rhythm with your breath. A warm light glows from inside the cafe. The windows fog slightly from the quiet hum of the espresso machine, and faint music, something mellow, slow, and thoughtful, drifts into the night. The air smells of fresh rain, lavender, and a hint of vanilla from the pastries that rest beneath glass domes inside. You pull out a chair beside one of the small tables that overlook the city skyline, softened beneath the rain. The world below is distant, hazy, moving slower than usual. Brake lights glow like scattered fireflies. Umbrellas bloom and close like quiet flowers along the sidewalks. You feel separated from everything rushed, everything demanding, everything loud. Here, you are simply allowed to be. The owner of the cafe, a gentle figure with a calm smile, brings you a cup of something warm. Steam rises from the mug in slow spirals that curl into the rainy air. You wrap your hands around it, and the warmth spreads gently into your fingers, your palms, your arms. You take a small sip. The taste is soft, comforting, like honey blended into a quiet evening. You notice how the plants seem to listen to the rain. Leaves lean slightly, catching droplets. Small lights woven through branches glow like distant stars. The rooftop feels like its own world, peaceful, held safe. Your shoulders loosen. Your breath slows. Thoughts once crowded begin to settle like leaves drifting to rest. There is nothing to solve here. No deadlines, no expectations. Only the gentle music of rain, the steady glow of warm lanterns, and the quiet company of an evening meant exclusively for rest. somewhere deep inside, a sense of softness begins to unfold, a feeling that says, you are allowed to pause, you are allowed to breathe slowly, you are allowed to be gentle with yourself tonight. And as you sit beneath the canopy of the rooftop garden cafe, while the rain paints the sky with silver, the story of the night quietly begins, establishing the atmosphere, environment, and gentle emotional anchor. The rain continues its quiet, rhythmic song overhead. It is not a storm. There are no flashes, no roars, just a quiet rain, the kind that relaxes rooftops, sweetens the air, and encourages the world to slow down step by step, like someone carefully dimming the lights at the end of the day. You lean back in your chair, feeling the woven fabric cradle you softly. The table, polished and round, carries delicate reflections of lanterns swaying overhead. Every detail of the rooftop garden cafe seems to exist for comfort. The arrangement of plants, the gentle curve of chairs, the muted glow from bulbs shaped like tiny glowing moons. The cafe sign flickers with warm script letters, welcoming anyone who finds themselves wandering here on a rainy evening. Few people know about this place. It is tucked quietly above a bookstore, reached only by a stairway that winds gently through shelves of forgotten novels and handwritten notes taped to walls from people who once stopped by and left messages like whispers. Oh, take your time. May the night be kind. When the owner first opened the cafe, they wanted it to be more than a place for tea or pastries. They wanted it to be a place where people could lay their thoughts down for a little while. A quiet sanctuary, suspended gently between sky and city. And as you look around now, it feels exactly like that. You notice the garden more fully. Basil leaves bow slightly beneath droplets. Rosemary branches carry rain beads that glimmer like crystal. Soft pink roses curve inward in the cool evening. And everywhere, small lanterns cast circular halos of light that overlap, creating pockets of warmth among the greenery. A slow breeze moves through the rooftop, guiding the rain sideways in gentle waves. The cafe canopy catches just enough of it, so you can hear the rhythm without feeling soaked. The air is perfect, cool, fresh, calm. You close your eyes and listen. Rain against fabric, rain along leaves, rain tapping the rim of your mug. It becomes less a sound and more a feeling, like being wrapped in something soft, something patient, something infinitely kind. The owner drifts quietly between tables, wiping surfaces, adjusting candles, pouring tea. There is a serenity about them, the kind of presence that makes you feel welcome without needing to speak. They nod at you gently when your eyes meet, as if acknowledging your quiet need for rest without asking questions. Beyond the cafe, The skyline fades into mist. Tall buildings become silhouettes, softened and dreamlike. Windows glow with warm squares of light. Somewhere far below, a bus hums past. Somewhere else, laughter rises faintly from a group talking beneath umbrellas. But everything feels distant, safely far from your thoughts. Up here, time moves differently. Minutes stretch like calm mornings. Each breath arrives unhurried. The mind begins to float slowly, like a leaf carried by gentle water. You think for a moment about the things you carried earlier in the day, unfinished tasks, small worries, conversations that replayed themselves too many times. And then something surprising happens. They begin to feel lighter, not gone, not erased, just placed softly on a shelf somewhere outside this moment where they can rest too. There is an empty notebook on your table, left there intentionally. The cover is a soft fabric, stitched with little constellations of silver thread. Inside, every page is blank, waiting, but not demanding anything. You run your fingers across it and realize this. Even thoughts deserve gentle places to land. The owner approaches, setting a small pastry dish beside your cup, something flaky with powdered sugar that looks like it belongs to quiet nights. They smile again, calm and knowing, before stepping away without interruption. For a while you simply exist, not performing, not analyzing, not forcing anything to make sense, just breathing, just listening, just being. The cafe hums softly with human presence. A couple sits quietly by the railing, sharing the same umbrella, though they are fully under the canopy, as if the closeness brings comfort. An older man flips slowly through a book of poetry, pausing often as though savoring each line like warm tea. A woman writes in her journal, stopping every few lines to stare out at the gentle rain. There is a shared understanding here that silence is welcome, that slowness is a gift, and slowly you begin to feel part of that stillness too. A warm, slow gratitude rises in you without needing words. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, just soft, like light passing through frosted glass. The quiet rain deepens into a steady hush, like pages being turned in a book you don't need to read, only listen to. You rest your forearms against the table, feeling its cool surface beneath your skin, and watch a bead of rain slide down the lantern glass. It gathers patiently, grows, and finally releases, falling in a tiny drop that disappears into the shadows of leaves below. The way it moves is almost meditative, as if gravity itself were in no hurry. Somewhere inside the cafe, a kettle clicks, followed by the low, comforting rush of water pouring over loose tea. The scent drifts outward, chamomile, maybe, with a hint of lemon and honey, and blends with the damp smell of rain, kissed earth. The combination creates a cocoon around the rooftop, wrapping every table, every chair, every corner in a feeling of soft reassurance. A faint murmur of conversation rises now and then. Nothing sharp, nothing dramatic. Just warm syllables moving gently through the air, fading before they can disturb the peace. Even laughter here sounds different, lighter, quieter, as if it has learned how to respect the night. You notice a small wooden chalkboard near the cafe counter. Written in careful hand, beneath the day's simple menu, is a line: stay as long as you need. It isn't marketing, it isn't decoration. It feels sincere, like the rooftop itself is speaking. A breeze drifts by, carrying droplets that brush your skin with cool kisses. You don't shy away. Instead, you let them arrive and vanish, feeling the contrast between the freshness of the night and the warmth still lingering in your hands from the mug. The owner steps out again, this time carrying a watering can. It's almost humorous, watering plants in the rain. But you realize what they're doing: checking soil, lifting pots, ensuring each plant receives just the right amount. Even here, where nature already helps, there is gentle attention. Their movements are unhurried and precise, each gesture guided by care rather than efficiency. You watch as they pause at a large planter filled with mint, brushing fingertips lightly across the leaves before smiling to themselves. The mint responds with a quiet release of fragrance, sweet and cool, carried instantly into the air. It drifts around you like a memory of summer folded into a rainy night. You let your gaze wander across the garden, finding new details you missed before. Tiny glass bottles hang from one trellis, catching drops that ring softly when they meet. A string of lights wraps around the railing, dim enough not to intrude, bright enough to create a pathway of comfort. Along one wall, small photographs are clipped to twine. Scenes of mornings and evenings here, over the years, sunlight spilling across tables, winter frost edging the planters, friends laughing beneath umbrellas. Every image holds the same quiet energy, a reminder that this rooftop has been many gentle nights for many quiet souls. And tonight it belongs to you for a while. You exhale slowly, a long, releasing breath, and feel something uncoil inside. A knot you hadn't realized you'd been carrying begins to loosen. Your thoughts soften at the edges, becoming round and slow, like stones smoothed by water. The notebook on the table remains open, blank page waiting. You lift the pen and simply draw a small line. No words, no meaning, just movement. And somehow, even that tiny action feels like a release, as if you've allowed a little thought to slip out of your mind and rest somewhere safe. The owner glances toward you from across the rooftop and gives a very small nod. kind of acknowledgement that says, yes, that's exactly what it's for. Another guest arrives, a quiet figure shaking rain from their coat before slipping under the canopy. They greet the owner softly, order something with a smile, then choose a table near the railing, folding their hands around a cup as though it were a tiny hearth. No one looks up in curiosity. No one stares. The cafe has a way of welcoming new arrivals like gentle waves, naturally, without disruption. Above everything, clouds move lazily across the sky. They aren't heavy or threatening. They are soft, layered like brushed wool, drifting in slow procession. Occasionally, a part of the sky opens enough to reveal a faint glow behind the clouds, where the hidden moon lends its quiet light to the city. That glow spreads across puddles, across rooftops, across the slick streets below, painting them with subtle silver. You imagine what the city sounds like from down there. Tires whispering along rain, wet roads, footsteps splashing through shallow pools, doors opening and closing with muffled thumps. And yet from up here, those same sounds transform into faint background texture, like distant instruments in a song meant to soothe rather than stir. The gentle mystery of this place begins to unfold in your mind. Not a mystery of secrets, but a mystery of why it feels so safe. Perhaps it's the height, being just far enough above the world to watch without being pulled into it. Perhaps it's the garden, life rooted calmly into soil, growing at its own patient pace. Perhaps it's simply the intention woven into every corner, a space built with kindness, held together not by walls, but by care. Whatever the reason, something in you senses that this rooftop garden cafe holds a quiet understanding. Everyone who comes here carries something heavy, even if they don't speak of it. And somehow, the place knows how to help lighten that weight, not by fixing anything, but by offering warmth, slowness, and the gentle permission to rest. Your eyes drift toward the edge of the rooftop again. Raindrops slide along the rail in glimmering rows. Some drop into the darkness beyond. Others gather and merge, reflecting tiny upside down fragments of the world. You imagine the city lights as stars that have chosen to live below instead of above. A feeling rises, soft curiosity, gentle and unhurried. Who else has sat here before tonight? Who whispered thoughts into the pages of old notebooks? Who listened to the rain until sleep found them? Who placed their worries down like coats hung gently on a rack by the door? The thought isn't sad. It's comforting, realizing that rest is something shared across many quiet nights, that you are part of a lineage of weary minds who found peace beneath this same canopy. The owner returns with a tray of fresh cups for the counter. They pause near your table, speaking for the first time in a calm, steady voicey. If you need anything warmer, they say softly, just let me know. We don't measure time here. Their words are simple, but they linger, like a note held softly at the end of a song before they move on, leaving behind an echo of reassurance. You sip your drink again, now only gently warm, and feel it settle deeper into your chest, into your breathing, into the quiet rhythm that the rain continues to guide. Your thoughts slow further, the internal noise retreating as though it understands it's not needed tonight. The night, the garden, the cafe, everything has taken on the quality of a dream. You're still awake inside. A soft awareness spreads. You are safe here. The rooftop is not an escape. It is a gentle pause, a resting point on whatever path you're traveling. And something tells you the night has more to offer, not in the form of surprises or twists, but in layers of calm waiting to be discovered, like deeper and deeper pools of still water. The rain shifts slightly, becoming lighter, gentler still, almost like a whisper brushing across leaves. The world seems to lean closer, as if to say, stay, breathe, let the night hold you. And as the lanterns continue their soft glow and the clouds move slowly overhead, the first part of the evening settles into your bones, promising that the story of this rooftop garden cafe and the soft mystery living quietly within it is only just beginning. The rain softens again, thinning into a delicate mist that brushes across the rooftop like a sigh released into the night. The sound shifts with it, less of a patter, more of a hush, as if the sky has decided to whisper instead of speak. The garden absorbs every drop patiently. Leaves nod. Flowers bend slightly, cradling beads of water that cling as though they've found a place to rest. You lean back in your chair, letting your shoulders settle into the cushioned padding. The rhythm of the city feels farther away now, like a memory you can still hear faintly through layers of soft cloth. What remains closest is the rooftop, its warm lights, its earthy scent, its quiet sense of welcome. Inside the cafe, someone closes a cabinet with gentle care. Porcelain touches porcelain. A spoon stirs slowly. Even the smallest sounds hold kindness here, as if the entire place has learned how to move without disturbing anyone's thoughts. You notice the notebook still open in front of you and place the pen across the page, allowing it to lie there peacefully. Words feel unnecessary right now. There is nothing to explain, nothing to capture. The moment is already complete without anything extra added to it. A light rustle draws your attention to the far side of the rooftop. There, beneath a wide umbrella woven from soft fabric, sits a figure you hadn't seen arrive. They wear a long coat the color of warm coffee, draped loosely around their shoulders. Their hands cradle a steaming cup, and every so often they pause to gaze out beyond the rooftop at the blurred, glowing city below. They are not dramatic, not mysterious in a way that demands questions. They simply exist, quietly, comfortably, like someone who has learned to breathe slowly through long nights. For a moment, your minds share the same view. Rooftops layered like gentle hills, windows glowing with pockets of warm light, streets stretching through the rain like silver ribbons. Somewhere, a bus sighs to a stop, a window closes softly, a dog barks once and then fades into silence again. You realize how large the city is, how many stories are being lived at once, and somehow, instead of feeling small, you feel peacefully connected, not responsible for any of it, not entangled in thoughts, simply aware that life continues quietly around you, and you are allowed to rest within it. Another breeze moves through the garden, chimes made from delicate shells hanging near the canopy sound in faint, airy notes. They don't ring often, only when the wind feels gentle enough to guide them. The sound floats lightly, drifting across the space like a ribbon of music that doesn't need to be remembered in order to be beautiful. The cafe owner steps out again, wiping their hands on a soft cloth tucked into their apron. They check one of the planters closest to your table and smile with quiet approval, then glance toward the seated guest beneath the umbrella, offering them a fresh napkin and a kind nod. When they finally approach your table, they lower their voice to a murmur meant only for you. Sometimes they say, "The rain speaks in different languages." Tonight it seems to be saying, "Slow down." You return a gentle smile. The words don't require conversation. They rest inside you like seeds planted in good soil. The owner moves on, never lingering long enough to break the stillness. Across the rooftop, the lantern light shifts subtly, gaining the faintest golden deepness as clouds drift overhead. The garden takes on a dreamlike tint, where every leaf looks like it has been softly painted rather than grown. You sink a little deeper into your seat. Your breathing steadies without effort, in, out, slow, grounded, sensing with the rain's quiet rhythm. Thoughts begin to pass the way clouds do, drifting, never staying long enough to take shape. Memories brush past, gentle and harmless now, a conversation from earlier, a to-do list, a fleeting worry, all softened by the night until they dissolve into simple background murmur. The guest beneath the umbrella closes their eyes for a moment as they sip their drink, not in exhaustion, but in quiet appreciation, as though tasting a comfort they've been missing. When they look up again, their eyes meet yours briefly across the rooftop. the look isn't intrusive. It's simply a silent acknowledgement. We're both here to breathe. They give a tiny nod, barely noticeable, and then return to watching the city. The moment feels like sharing a blanket across distance, each wrapped in separate warmth. Yet knowing someone else understands why this night matters, your gaze drifts to the edge of the roof once more. Down below, headlights smear into watercolor shapes, their reflections stretching and bending across glistening pavement. Raindrops scatter in the glow, each one catching a moment of light before vanishing into quiet puddles. For a moment, it seems as if time actually slows, not stops, only loosens its grip, like a clock deciding to lean back in its chair for a while. Seconds lengthen, movements soften. Even your own heartbeat feels unhurried. From inside the cafe comes the faint sound of an old record beginning to play. A low, warm melody fills the air, soft piano, delicate strings, quiet enough to blend with the rain rather than compete with it. The music settles over the rooftop like a blanket. The notes hold space, lingering gently, fading at the edges. Your mind drifts toward the thought of how many evenings have likely unfolded here. Gentle conversations, whispered confessions, laughter soft enough not to disturb the plants. Maybe someone celebrated something small. Maybe someone sat with sadness and found it soften. Maybe someone simply came here night after night to breathe in the scent of rain and soil until the world made sense again. There is comfort in that idea that the rooftop is a keeper of gentle moments, a guardian of quiet nights. You wrap your hands again around your mug, noticing how the warmth has faded to a gentle, comforting coolness. No urgency to reheat, no need to finish. Everything here exists without pressure. The owner returns with a small tray. Though you haven't asked for anything, they place a delicate biscuit beside your mug, lightly sweet, topped with a dusting of powdered sugar that glows beneath the lantern light. This one is on the house, they whisper with a kind smile. Just something soft for the evening. The gesture is simple, but something inside you responds deeply, that universal human longing to be cared for without needing to earn it. You thank them softly and they nod, already moving on, as if giving kindness is the most natural thing in the world. You take a small bite. It crumbles gently, melting into a warm flavor that tastes faintly of vanilla and something nostalgic, something that reminds you of quiet kitchens, closed windows, peaceful nights where the world felt far away and safe. Rain brushes the canopy in softer rhythms now, spreading into gentle patterns like fingertips tapping sleepily. The garden breathes with the night, foliage shimmering with droplets that catch the light like tiny constellations. Your attention drifts inward for a while, not into worry, but into gentle observation. You notice how your shoulders feel lighter, how the space in your chest seems wider, like a window quietly opened, how your thoughts now move slowly enough that you can choose which ones to touch and which ones to simply watch pass by. You realize you've been holding a quiet tension for a long time, the kind that settles into you unnoticed, like dust gathering on a shelf. And here, in this rooftop cafe, that tension has begun to dissolve, not through effort. Why? But because the night itself carries a language of reassurance. The figure beneath the umbrella stands gently, stretching in an easy, languid motion. They place their empty cup on the table, tuck their coat around themselves, and offer the owner a grateful smile as they approach the staircase. Before disappearing down the steps, they pause, place a hand on the railing, and look out once more over the quiet city, as though saying a wordless goodbye to the evening. You wonder where they're going, but it doesn't matter. They leave behind a lingering sense of calm, like the afterglow of a conversation that never needed words. The owner extinguishes one of the smaller lanterns, not darkening the space, only softening it slightly more. Then adjusts a potted lavender plant so it can better catch the gentle drift of mist. Lavender's fragrance rises, subtle but unmistakably soothing, folding into the night air like a soft exhale. You inhale slowly, letting the scent mix with the earthy aroma of rain, damp soil, and the last notes of chamomile that still cling to the air. The combination feels like a lullaby, not a song, but an atmosphere that surrounds and holds you. Time continues its softened glide forward. Occasionally, footsteps come and go beneath the stairwell, echoing faintly before fading back into the quiet. A few more guests arrive, each greeted with the same warm nod, each naturally finding their own quiet corner. They don't disturb the peace. Instead, the peace seems to expand gently to include them. A woman sits near a cluster of hydrangeas, carefully turning the pages of a small book. A man places a notebook down and decides simply to watch the rain instead. Two friends whisper softly, their conversation more like shared breathing than words. Everyone understands, without being told, that this is a place where silence is welcome and slowness is honored. Your eyes drift half closed, not because you are tired in a heavy way, but because comfort itself invites rest. The record inside reaches another track, slower, warmer. Notes rise like lanterns floating upward, then drift back down gently, settling into the evening. You realize that even music here seems to know how to move with the night, not ahead of it. You let another long breath leave your chest. In the quiet space that follows, something within you opens, not like a door flung wide, but like a window cracked just enough to let fresh air in. You sense, without needing to understand, that this rooftop garden cafe is beginning to show you something. Rest does not demand absence of thought, only softness of thought. Stillness does not require isolation, only presence. And healing does not come as a dramatic event, but as a series of gentle moments, layered quietly, like raindrops collecting into a calm pool. A flicker of curiosity stirs again, calm curiosity, about how the night might continue to unfold. The rooftop has more to share, and the story of this gentle place feels far from finished. Yet nothing feels rushed. Everything in its own unhurried rhythm. The rain resumes its steady song, lanterns glow warmer, the city hum dims further, and you find yourself drifting easily into deeper relaxation, as if the rooftop garden has taken your worries, wrapped them gently in soft cloth, and set them aside for safekeeping. The night holds you, the rooftop welcomes you, and the rain, endlessly patient, keeps speaking its soothing language, inviting you to listen, breathe, and stay. The night slips deeper into itself, the way a blanket folds softly around resting shoulders. Rain drifts between moods, sometimes a steady curtain, sometimes a wandering mist that floats lazily across the rooftop garden, as though deciding where to settle. The city below seems quieter than before. Traffic has thinned to occasional sighs of passing cars. Windows hold longer stretches of stillness. Somewhere far off, a distant train hums, its sound softened by distance until it becomes only a faint, comforting vibration against the sky. Up here, time behaves differently. Not broken, not frozen, simply softened. The lanterns glow warmly, halos of light blurring gently in the damp air. Tiny reflections shimmer on each wet leaf, giving the garden an almost dreamlike quality, as if every plant is holding its own small moon. You lean forward, resting your arms comfortably on the table. The chair supports you in a way that feels intentional, as if it was shaped by someone who knew what weary shoulders needed at the end of a long day. Your body understands something before your thoughts do. You are allowed to be fully unguarded here. The cafe owner moves quietly among the plants, adjusting saucers beneath pots, checking stems, turning leaves gently between their fingers. They don't rush. They don't even seem to think about rushing. Every gesture feels like part of a ritual learned slowly over years, a language spoken with soil and petals instead of words. They notice you watching and smile softly. These plants, they say almost in a whisper, teach you how to listen. They don't hurry. They don't push. They simply grow when the moment is right. You nod, There is wisdom there, but it lands without pressure, settling in like a story that can be understood later when the heart is ready. The owner moves on, leaving the thought to ripple gently inside you. You allow your gaze to drift once again across the rooftop. From one corner rises a small trellis woven with ivy. Droplets hang from its leaves like beads along a necklace. A lavender bush sits close by, its soft purple hues deepened by the night. Rosemary, mint, jasmine, basil, all quietly releasing delicate threads of scent that weave together into a fragrance, both grounding and airy. You notice how memory responds to scent. Moments come back not in sharp detail, but in warm impressions. An evening in another place, another gentle rain, a kitchen light left on, someone laughing softly nearby, someone saying, "Take your time." It doesn't matter who or when. The memory exists simply to remind you that peace has always found you before and will always find you again. The record inside continues its tender rhythm, piano keys touched gently, notes lingering like breath. Every so often, there's a faint crackle in the recording, not intrusive, but nostalgic, giving the impression that this music belongs to nights exactly like this one. A few new guests arrive and sit quietly along the edges of the garden. One places a small journal on the table, but after a while doesn't open it. Another tilts their head back, feeling the cool mist brush their face, and simply closes their eyes. No one demands conversation. Even silence here feels like companionship. You take another sip of your tea. It's cooler now, but somehow softer, its flavors blending more gently with the night. The warmth that remains travels slowly through you, settling somewhere deep and quiet. Your thoughts begin to wander inward, not toward worry, but toward reflection. You think about how often you push forward through days, stacking tasks and expectations on top of each other, hoping to carve space for rest later. And somehow, later rarely arrives. The mind learns to race long after the world has slowed, rehearsing worries, revisiting conversations, preparing for futures that haven't happened yet. Here the rooftop offers a different way. No instruction, no lecture, only an atmosphere that teaches by feeling. A place that reminds you that slowness is not failure, it is healing. The rain thickens slightly and then eases again like breathing. You realize that nature too lives in rhythms, effort followed by rest, sound followed by silence, clouds forming and drifting away. One of the lanterns flickers and steadies. Another pocket of lavender fragrance rises. Somewhere near the stairwell, a cat, soft, furred and calm, appears silently, padding along the wooden railing. Its paws make almost no sound as it moves, tail lifted lazily, eyes half lidded as though it, too, respects the peace of the night. The owner notices, smiles fondly, and sets down a small saucer of water. The cat drinks slowly, unhurried, then curls up beneath a planter and closes its eyes, joining the quiet of the garden without asking permission, as if it belongs to the rooftop just as much as the plants. You watch with gentle affection. The cat offers another lesson. The night seems intent on teaching. Being here is enough, not performing, not producing, just being. You exhale softly, feeling your chest release another layer of tension. The breeze moves through the ivy again, carrying faint droplets with it. A few land on your hand, cool and light, and you don't brush them away immediately. You simply feel them, noticing how delicate rain actually is when it lands individually instead of all at once. The city's skyline, framed beyond the rooftop edge, has changed subtly. Some windows have gone dark, others still glow, small islands of quiet lives scattered in the distance. Rooftops glisten. Trees along the street below sway slightly, their branches shining with beads of water. From somewhere down the block, a street lamp buzzes gently, then settles. The sound, too, becomes part of the night's tapestry. Nothing harsh, only another small detail woven softly into existence. The owner stops by once more, resting a hand lightly on the back of a nearby chair. People find their own pace here, they say quietly. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it happens the moment the rain touches the roof. There's no right way. You let the sentence linger. You didn't realize until now that you had been looking for the right way. To relax, as though rest were another task to complete correctly. The realization makes you soften further, like a knot coming loose from the inside. You thank the owner quietly. They smile and return to their steady tending of leaves and lanterns. The night deepens. Clouds shift across the sky, revealing portions of dark indigo beneath them, where faint stars blink softly, blurred by moisture. The stars don't compete with the lanterns or the city lights. They simply glow from where they are, distant and patient. Your breathing now matches something larger, the rhythm of rain, of the rooftop, of the quiet evening itself. Each inhale arrives like a gift. Each exhale carries away something you don't need anymore. A small chalkboard sign near the entrance catches your eye. You hadn't noticed the words before. The script is handwritten, gentle, almost whisper-like. Stay as long as the night needs you. Not as long as you need the night, but as long as the night needs you. It feels like a subtle invitation, a reminder that sometimes rest isn't selfish. It's part of how the world keeps its balance. When you rest, quiet expands. When you slow down, something gentle has space to exist. You close your eyes briefly, Behind your eyelids, the sounds become richer. Rain, occasional clink of cups, a page being turned, a chair gently moved, a cat sighing as it settles deeper into its curl. Nothing sharp, nothing sudden. Your muscles loosen, one layer at a time. You imagine the rooftop as a kind of sanctuary, not a place separate from life, but a space within it where everything becomes simpler, quieter, more honest. A place that says, you don't have to solve anything right now. It's okay to just feel the rain and let the night hold you. A distant clock tower chimes faintly through the mist, not loud enough to count the hour, only enough to remind you gently that time continues with or without your attention. And somehow, instead of feeling pulled by it, you feel supported, as though each passing moment is carrying you gently toward deeper rest, not away from it. Guests begin leaving one by one, moving quietly down the staircase. Each departure feels unhurried. They rise, gather their things with soft movements, share a grateful nod with the owner, and disappear into the stairwell, footsteps fading like raindrops sliding out of hearing. The rooftop does not feel emptier when they go. It feels more spacious, more intentional, as if the night adjusts its embrace to fit. However, many hearts still remain. You stay, not because you must, but because your body knows it is not quite finished receiving what this place offers. The cat stretches, then resettles closer to the lavender. A lantern flickers again, not out of instability, but as if it is relaxing too. The mist thickens, softening the outlines of everything until the garden looks like a memory, gentle, glowing, safe. You tilt your head back just a little. Above, drops gather at the edge of the canopy and fall with slow rhythm, one after another, each tiny splash sounding like punctuation in a sentence written by the sky. For a moment, you imagine that the rooftop garden cafe exists outside maps, appearing only on rainy nights when minds need somewhere to slow. A hidden refuge designed not for escape, but for repair. A quiet agreement between the weather, the plants, and the people who wander here. Not magical in a loud way, magical in the way comfort always is. Subtle, patient, real. Your eyes wander to your notebook again, still open, pages catching stray droplets that dot the margins. The blank lines no longer feel like pressure. Instead, they look like calm spaces. If words come later, they will come gently. If they don't, the page will simply remain open, breathing with the night. The music softens as the record nears its end. A brief hush follows, not empty, but full of presence. Then, another record begins, this one even slower, with long, drifting notes that seem to float above the garden like lantern light. You feel a sense of continuity, like the night is carrying on a conversation with itself, unbroken. Inside, a single candle is lit on the counter. Its small flame dances lazily, bending to the rhythm of the breeze slipping through the doorway. The light reflects in the glass jars lining the shelves, glazing everything in gold. The cafe owner pauses to watch the candle for a moment, as if listening for something unspoken, then turns back to the garden and checks on the plants one last time. Everything is calm, everything is held, and gradually, without you even noticing the shift, your thoughts transition from reflection into something quieter still, a hovering space between wakefulness and rest, where awareness softens and the world begins to blur gently around the edges. The rooftop garden has carried you there patiently, not through forcing, but through kindness, through silence, through the steady conversation of rain and light and breath. The night deepens further, but instead of darkness, it brings warmth. Instead of uncertainty, it brings safety. The world for now feels simply a table, a cup, a chair that holds you, a sky that whispers, a garden that understands how to listen, and somewhere inside you softly, something settles. You don't have to hold everything right now. The rooftop can hold some of it for you. The rain can hold some of it. The night itself can carry the rest away into quiet corners where it becomes smaller, softer, easier. You feel yourself drifting deeper, not downward, but inward, into the most peaceful layer of the evening. And the story of this gentle place continues to unfold, waiting to show you how rest grows naturally when you're surrounded by softness, patience, and quiet understanding. The rain had grown tender, not louder, not wilder, but softer, as though it had finally found the exact rhythm the night had been waiting for. Each drop seemed to land with intention, on leaves, on tiles, on the canvas awning above the tables, on the glass lanterns that glowed like patient little moons. The rooftop garden cafe felt wrapped now, held inside its own quiet cocoon of rain and gentle light. Beyond the edges of the roof, the city shimmered, washed clean, its reflections gathered into puddles below and mirrored windows above. Traffic far away hummed like a distant lullaby, softened into a background hush. Even the breeze felt slower, carrying with it the faintest trace of damp earth and blooming leaves. You sat back in your chair, not leaning forward, not thinking ahead, just resting. The cushions cradled your shoulders. The warmth from your mug traveled slowly through your hands, lingering in your fingers, then diffusing up your arms in a quiet wave of comfort. It was the sort of warmth that didn't rush. It simply stayed, patient, steady, kind. Across the table, Mira glanced up from the notebook she'd been absent-mindedly sketching in. The candle flickered softly, painting gentle curves of light across her features. "How does it feel?" she asked softly, "to be here tonight like this?" Her question wasn't heavy, it wasn't probing, it simply floated there, gentle, like the steam rising from your cup. You breathed in, letting your answer come slowly. "It feels?" You began, letting the words stretch and soften, quiet in the right way. Mira smiled, small, understanding, deeply present. "That's good. Some places have noise. This one has hush. There's a difference?" You nodded. There truly was. Noise pushed into the mind, pressed against it, asked it to react and respond. But hush wrapped around the mind, and for the first time in a long time, your thoughts weren't racing each other. They were just drifting above you. Vines moved slightly, kissed by the light breeze. Dewy droplets clung to their edges, catching the glow of the lanterns and scattering it into tiny prisms. Each glisten looked like a quiet star that happened to fall into the garden by mistake and decided to stay for the night. Somewhere, the soft clink of a spoon against porcelain whispered through the air, slow, rhythmic, soothing. The cafe owner, Elias, walked gently between planters, adjusting a lantern here, pressing a leaf there between his fingers, checking on the garden the way someone would check on loved ones as they slept. He had a way of moving that barely disturbed the world around him, as if he had learned the language of night and spoke it fluently. He paused near your table and gave a warm, knowing nod. "Everything okay?" he asked in his gentle tone, like a word wrapped in a blanket. "Yes," you replied, and the word surprised you with how honest it felt. "Everything is okay." He smiled, not out of politeness, but genuinely pleased, and continued on, his footsteps disappearing into the soft rustle of leaves and rain. The music drifted quietly from somewhere behind the bar, slow piano, played so delicately that each note seemed to land like raindrops inside the melody. The keys never rushed. They lingered, giving space between sounds for breath, for memory, for rest. Mira leaned back, letting her gaze climb upward. "Look," she whispered. You followed her eyes. Thin strands of cloud moved across the night sky, shifting slowly above the faint outline of taller buildings in the distance. Yet here, inside the rooftop garden, the sky appeared closer, as if the cafe itself existed on a slightly different level of the world, lifted just high enough away from noise to find peace. Tiny strings of fairy lights wound gently along the railings. Soft as fireflies, their glow reflected in little beads of rain and turned them into floating pearls. Every once in a while, a droplet would release itself, slide downward, and disappear with a quiet kiss against the stone. A kind of serenity settled across the entire rooftop, not silent, but gently alive. And in that softness, something in you unclenched. You hadn't noticed how long it had been held tight, how long your thoughts had kept certain worries tucked close. In daytimes filled with schedules and expectations, it was easy to believe you were required to hold everything at once. Thoughts about tomorrow, thoughts about yesterday, thoughts about things unsaid, undone, unfinished. Here, the night asked for none of it. Here, the garden seemed to whisper, "You may rest now. You do not have to solve anything. You do not have to chase anything. You are allowed to simply be." You let the awareness sink quietly through you, like warmth moving through layers of cool sand. Mira turned a page in her notebook slowly. "I used to think peace was something you had to earn," she said softly, as if thinking aloud rather than making a confession. "Something you only deserved after working hard enough, fixing enough, proving enough." You listened, not out of duty, but because her words moved at the same gentle pace the rain did, calm, open. "But then I found this place," she continued, "and I realized peace sometimes finds you first. It sits beside you. It doesn't ask for anything. It just waits." You felt the truth of that deep inside your quietening thoughts. The cafe had that kind of presence, not demanding, not performing, simply existing in a way that allowed your breathing to become slower, your shoulders to soften, your inner voice to quiet down. Elias returned with a fresh teapot, though your cup was still partly full. "Warmth should never run out," he said kindly, pouring without asking whether you needed more. Especially on rainy nights. He placed the pot down on its small wooden coaster. A hint of herbal fragrance rose into the air, soft notes of citrus and honey, a whisper of mint, and something floral you couldn't quite name. "Thank you," you murmured. He nodded again and moved away, as effortlessly as the clouds overhead. The conversation between you and Mira drifted into silence, a good silence, one that didn't feel empty or awkward. Instead, it made room for the small details around you to step forward. The sound of pages rustling gently, the delicate clatter of cups, rain tracing invisible pathways down panes of glass, the faint patter as droplets met leaves and kissed them into motion. You closed your eyes for a moment and simply listened. Without sight, the cafe felt like a world composed entirely of breath and softness. The chair beneath you held your weight evenly. The table pressed lightly against your arms, steady and reassuring. The smell of rain-washed plants mingled with the scent of warm tea, creating an atmosphere that felt almost like a memory. Something familiar, kind, and safe. When you opened your eyes again, time seemed to have softened. The edges of the night blurred, not disappearing, but melting into a more restful shape. The lights had dimmed just a shade, deepening the colors around the garden into velvety blues and gentle golds. A soft mist had begun to gather, hovering close to the leaves and letting every lantern beam bloom into halos. It was as though the garden had shifted subtly into a dreamlike version of itself, still real, still grounded, yet bathed in an extra layer of quiet magic. Mira's voice came back softly, like a thought returning from a peaceful wander. "Do you ever feel," she said, "like rainy nights listen better than any person ever could?" You smiled faintly. "Yes," you answered. "They don't interrupt." She laughed gently, a soft, warm sound hardly louder than the rain itself. "Exactly. They don't try to fix anything. They just stay." Another slow breath, another sip of warmth. Somewhere across the cafe, a small wind chime stirred. Its sound was barely audible, like distant glass stars brushing together. It added another delicate layer to the music of the evening, one that felt accidental yet perfectly placed. You watched as Elias quietly set out small bowls of herbs near certain plants, whispering something you couldn't quite hear. Perhaps he was offering gratitude for growth. Perhaps he was simply talking to the garden in the way people talk to old friends. Everything here felt like it belonged. Every leaf, every drop, every flicker of flame. There was no part of the cafe that felt rushed or unfinished. Even the shadows seemed intentional, shaping the lantern light into gentle pockets of coziness. Your breathing matched the rhythm of the rain without effort. In and out, in and out. Overthinking, that familiar companion, loosened its grip even further. Its voice became softer, like echoing footsteps fading into another street entirely. The thoughts that once insisted on being solved now seemed content to sit quietly beside you, as harmless as folded napkins on the table. The night was doing the work your mind always tried to do on its own, organizing feelings into calm patterns, smoothing worries into manageable shapes, letting your heart exist without expectation. It felt like therapy disguised as weather. Mira turned her notebook toward you for just a moment. Inside, she hadn't written paragraphs or thoughts. Instead, she had drawn slow, looping lines, wending across the page in graceful arcs. "Sometimes I come up here," she said, "and I just draw the way I want my thoughts to move." You looked at the curves, flowing, unhurried, interconnected. They reminded you of pathways through gardens, of rivers that didn't rush to reach the sea, of conversations that didn't demand resolution. They looked calm. You whispered, "That's all I've wanted lately." she replied softly. Calm, I don't have to chase. The rain eased another degree, thinning into a velvety drizzle that brushed every surface lightly. The world seemed to be leaning towards sleep, even though nighttime still had hours left to offer. Lantern light flickered, steady yet alive. Warmth continued to hold your hands, and slowly, gently, a realization began to bloom inside you, not loud, not startling, simply arising like a faint, comforting dawn across your inner landscape. You did not need the world to be perfect to feel peace. You only needed moments like this, places, people, nights, that reminded your heart how to rest. The Rooftop Garden Café felt like a quiet gift meant for evenings when thoughts tangled too tightly. Here, they loosened, drifted, and eventually found soft places to settle. You sensed that the night wasn't leading somewhere dramatic. It was leading inward, toward the kind of calm that lasted long after the rain stopped. And in that awareness, your shoulders dropped just a little more. Your jaw softened. Your eyelids grew slightly heavier, not out of exhaustion, but because your body felt safe enough to relax fully. Mira closed her notebook gently and set it aside, as though the night itself had completed whatever quiet work it needed to do. Neither of you rushed to leave. The cafe did not hurry you. The rain did not urge you forward. Time, for once, was not a river. It was a still, calm pool. You lingered there, letting the night hold you exactly where you were. And above the rooftop, beyond the drifting clouds and faint shimmer of mist, the sky seemed to whisper the softest promise. Rest is allowed. Stillness is allowed. You are allowed to be quiet inside. So you stayed and breathed and listened, while the rainy night carried the Rooftop Garden Café deeper into the most soothing part of its gentle, unhurried story. The rooftop lights dimmed by the smallest fraction, the way dusk fades into night without anyone ever noticing the exact moment it happens. The cafe seemed to exhale slowly, gratefully, as if it too had been holding something all evening and was finally ready to let it go. The rain lingered, but now it felt featherlight, barely a patter, more like a whispered rhythm smoothing the world into stillness. You leaned back slightly farther in your chair, discovering new depths of comfort in the cushions. Something in the warm fabric seemed to cradle you delicately, like a soft blanket draped across your shoulders by someone who cared quietly and sincerely. The garden leaves hung heavy with droplets, each leaf shining with a soft gloss under the lanterns. When the breeze stirred, the leaves leaned toward one another and brushed, creating a whispering sound like gentle conversation between friends who never raised their voices. From somewhere near the stairwell, Elias emerged again, carrying a shallow wooden tray. On it rested a row of small glass jars, each filled with dried herbs, petals, or hints of fragrant peel. He set the tray on the counter and began blending something with reverence, as if the night itself had asked for one more offering of warmth. Mira noticed, smiled faintly, and whispered across the table to you. He makes a calming tea near closing, not because he has to, just because he likes to send people home with softness in their hearts. You watched him measure out sprigs and grains, his movements thoughtful, unhurried. The soft clink of glass on wood became part of the evening's lullaby. No moment was wasted, but none were rushed either. Everything flowed, slow, gentle, intentional. A few other guests remained scattered across the rooftop, reading, listening, simply existing. No one seemed eager to leave. It felt understood, without words, that this was a place where you could stay longer than planned, if only to let your thoughts catch up with the peace around you. You lifted your cup again. The sip was delicate, light, soothing. The warmth slid downward and settled in your chest like calm itself finding a place to rest. You hadn't realized until now how rare it was to be somewhere that didn't require new energy from you, only quiet presence. Mira spoke softly again, barely above the sound of rain. When life gets loud, she said, it helps to have somewhere that reminds you how silence feels, not empty, but full of kindness. You nodded. The words lingered. Silence full of kindness. It felt exactly right. Across the table, she let her gaze drift upward. You followed, watching as a break in the clouds revealed a faint shimmer of stars above the mist, softened sky. They weren't sharp or cold, just gentle glints softened by atmosphere and rain, like candlelight from another world. And beneath them, the rooftop garden cafe glowed like a small sanctuary tucked into the city's heart. A sanctuary that asked for nothing in return. Time lengthened quietly. Moments stretched into one another, gently overlapping. Even the music grew softer, the piano drifting now into a dreamy cadence, fewer notes, more space between them. Those pauses felt like invitations to breathe a little deeper, to let everything slow. Elias carried 2 cups toward your table, small, rounded, carefully held. He set one in front of you and another beside Mira. This one, he said in his soft, thoughtful way, is the night blend, for unwinding, for letting go of the day. You inhaled gently, lavender, chamomile, a touch of orange peel, and something faintly sweet, almost like vanilla carried by rain. Thank you, you murmured again, and the gratitude filled your voice without effort. He smiled kindly and nodded. Take your time. Then he drifted away, leaving behind the quiet gift of warmth, You wrapped your hands around the new cup. The ceramic radiated heat into your palms, spreading outward in waves. The aroma rose slowly, unrushed, leaning towards you as if to invite you into its calm. Mira lifted her cup too, not to drink yet, but to breathe it in. Rain and tea, she whispered. The simplest combination, and somehow the most comforting. You took your first sip. Flavor touched your senses in a soft bloom, floral, earthy, gently sweet, entirely tender. It traveled through you in a way that didn't just warm, it soothed. The edges of your thoughts blurred and softened, like watercolor paint in gentle rain. Conversation drifted away again. Silence settled, comfortable, welcome, natural. Your gaze traveled slowly across the rooftop garden, taking in the details as if they were being stored away to return to later in memory. The trailing vines wrapping the pergola, raindrops trembling from delicate edges, lanterns glowing like little hearts, planters filled with basil, rosemary, and leaves that looked silvery under night. Everything looked like part of a scene composed with love, a piece of the world carefully arranged to show what safety could feel like, even for those who often lived wrapped in overthinking. Mira leaned her elbows softly on the table and rested her chin in her hands, eyes softened with reflection. You know, she said gently, I don't think we come here just to drink tea or watch the rain. I think we come here to be reminded of something we already knew, but forget too easily. You tilted your head. What's that? You asked softly. That we're allowed to slow down, she replied. That life still moves even when we pause, and that the world doesn't fall apart when we rest. The truth of it flowed through you like another sip of tea. How often had you felt that rest needed justification, that quiet time had to be earned, defended, explained? Yet here, quiet wasn't something unusual. It was the language of the place. Every piece of the rooftop seemed to whisper, rest is natural, calm is natural. You do not have to fight to deserve it. A soft mist rolled slightly thicker through the garden, tracing the edges of the tables and drifting across the walkway. The lanterns glowed through it like moons, wrapped in gauze, creating halos that made everything appear dreamlike. It felt as though the cafe was slowly preparing you, gently, kindly, to release whatever remained of the waking world and drift towards softness, towards sleep, toward the peaceful interior where overthinking finally fades. The piano music eased into a final melody, then dissolved into silence. No applause, no announcement, just quiet. The night accepted the quiet and carried it forward. Elias blew out a few of the outer lanterns, leaving only the warm core lights glowing closer to the center. Darkness thickened at the edges of the roof, not threatening, just tender, like deep velvet wrapping the garden in privacy. The rain continued its soft rhythm, and each drop felt like a reminder. You are safe. You are warm. You are allowed to let your mind drift. Mira finished her tea and set the cup down slowly, fingertips lingering just a moment on the handle. "Stay as long as you like," she said softly. "That's what this place is for, staying a little longer than necessary." You nodded, though words felt further away now, floating somewhere at the edge of your thoughts. Your breathing matched the night, deeper, slower, rhythmic. The rooftop plant swayed gently, releasing tiny droplets that glimmered downward like quiet blessings. The air carried the scent of wet leaves, tea, wood, and distant rain-soaked streets. A deep serenity filled the space, and somewhere deep inside you, deeper than worry, deeper than thought, something settled into peaceful stillness. You imagined walking through the garden slowly, each step gentle across the damp stone tiles. You pictured brushing your fingertips along the leaves as you passed, feeling the coolness there, the softness coated in rain. You imagined sitting at another table by the railing and looking out over the city, the subtle glow of windows, the softened outlines of buildings, the reflections stretching across puddled streets far below. Everything felt quiet. Everything felt slowed. Even the world seemed to be sleeping lightly. Time didn't feel linear anymore. It felt like a soft blanket wrapped around the present moment, holding it in place. The night had no urgency. It simply existed, endlessly patient. Mira stood up eventually, her movements slow, gentle, respectful of the calm around her. "I'm gonna head down," she said kindly, "but I'll see you again, maybe on another rainy night." You nodded, and she squeezed the back of your chair lightly as she passed. Her footsteps faded, swallowed by the hush of the stairwell. But the peace she carried remained, gently woven into the air, like a lingering note from a lullaby. Elias checked on the remaining lanterns, ensuring each flame burned low and steady. When he passed your table, he didn't rush you or ask whether you were ready to go. He simply gave a quiet, reassuring nod, like someone acknowledging that the night was still doing its work. And it was. Every breath you took seemed to deepen your sense of calm. Every blink felt slower. Every sound turned softer. You could almost imagine falling asleep right there, surrounded by leaves, warmed by tea, wrapped in the gentle heartbeat of rain. The city below continued, but its energy felt distant, softened into something harmless. Whatever tomorrow might bring had no power here. Whatever plans remained unfinished could wait. Whatever questions had once pressed so urgently on your mind seemed now like shapes far beneath clear water. Everything here invited one simple thing: letting go. The rain eased into the lightest possible drizzle, like a lullaby winding down. The mist hovered dreamily, and the last lanterns flickered like sleepy stars slowly dimming before dawn. Elias eventually spoke again, quietly, kindly, with the tone of someone offering comfort rather than direction. "When you feel ready to leave," he said, "take the calm with you. Nights like this tend to stay if you let them." You nodded. You knew you would remember. Not as a story about a place, but as a feeling your heart would recognize again whenever quiet rain began to fall. You finished the last sip of tea and set the cup gently on the table. The warmth remained in you, lingering in your chest and your hands, carrying with it a promise of rest that would follow you long after the lanterns were extinguished. For a while longer, you simply stayed, breathing, listening, resting, letting your thoughts drift like leaves on water, letting your body soften into comfort, letting your mind glide slowly toward the kind of peaceful drowsiness that doesn't ask for sleep. It just welcomes it whenever it arrives. The rooftop garden café shimmered softly in the night. The rain whispered, and the world felt beautifully unhurried. You closed your eyes, and the garden remained steady, patient, endlessly gentle, watching over the sleeping city, as if its only purpose was to cradle weary minds and guide them carefully, lovingly, toward rest. And while the rain fell, and the lanterns glowed, and the night wrapped the rooftop in velvet, you drifted deeper and deeper into calm. The rain has softened now, settling into a distant hush, like the softest brush strokes painted across the night. The rooftop garden cafe still lingers in your mind, not as a place you left behind, but as a quiet presence that continues to live inside you, a gentle space you can return to whenever your thoughts grow heavy. Imagine, once more, the warm glow of the lanterns, the soft shapes of leaves moving lazily in the night breeze, the scent of calming tea drifting through the air like a lullaby. It all remains with you, not as something you must hold on to, but as something that simply rests beside you, peacefully, patiently. There is nothing left to do now. No part of the story needs to move forward. No questions need answers. You are allowed, completely and fully, to drift. The world outside still exists, traffic lights changing, clocks ticking, people moving through their lives. But here, in this quiet corner of your mind, time feels softer, slower, almost unimportant. It stretches gently and opens, creating space where your thoughts can finally loosen and wander freely. You might notice your breath now, the way it enters and leaves, as steady as falling rain, in and out, not forced, not controlled, simply moving the way the world always has. And as you breathe, you may feel your shoulders soften, your jaw unclench, the space around your chest loosen, as if invisible knots are slowly being untangled. The weight of expectations, worries, and unfinished plans grows lighter, not because they have vanished, but because your body finally understands that they do not belong in this moment. This moment is only for rest. Think again of the chair on the rooftop, the cushions warm from lantern light, the fabric holding you as if shaped exactly for your comfort. You sit there still, in memory. The rain continues its gentle rhythm across the wooden planks. Leaves tremble softly, stirring as though whispering lullabies between themselves. Nothing presses, nothing insists. You do not have to respond, fix, decide, or prove anything. Here you simply exist, and that all by itself is enough. In your mind, the steam rises again from a cup of tea, slow, swirling, almost dreamlike. It carries with it traces of lavender, vanilla, citrus, and warmth. The aroma wraps around you like a calm embrace. You don't even need to lift the cup. Just knowing it's there is soothing. Just knowing something gentle waits beside you is enough. The rooftop feels safe, not guarded by walls or locks, but by quietness, by kindness, by the understanding that you have permission to release the tightness you've carried. Under the night sky, even the stars seem softer, muted by thin clouds, blurred like distant candlelight. They don't shine with urgency. They shimmer in slow, peaceful pulses, as if they too are breathing. And around you, the garden rests, the herbs, the vines, the ferns. Each one holds droplets that glisten faintly. They lean together, not rigid, not tense, but flexible, bending gently when brushed by the breeze. Nature has practiced rest since the beginning of time. Watching it helps you remember how to rest as well. The world does not fight to be at ease. It simply allows itself to slow, and slowly so do you. Your thoughts, once busy, layered, overlapping, now begin to spread out like clouds drifting apart. You notice gaps between them, pockets of stillness, places where nothing needs to be analyzed or replayed. If a worry appears, it passes through gently, like rain across a window pane. You don't chase it. You don't push it away. You simply watch it glide along and disappear into the night. The cafe remains open in memory, softly lit, unhurried, patient. Somewhere within that memory, Elias is finishing the last quiet tasks of the evening. He moves calmly, wiping a counter here, adjusting a lantern there, as though tending to peace itself. There is no rush in his motions, no noise, no harsh edges. Everything happens with tranquil intention, like every action is part of a lullaby meant to soothe the night. If Mira passes through your thoughts again, she does so like a gentle breeze, warm, understanding, offering reassurance without words. You remember her soft smile, the way she spoke about slowing down, about letting the quiet wrap around you rather than fearing it. Those words remain, not loud, not insistent, but settled comfortably in the background. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed, simply, to be. And now, without effort, you begin to drift farther into the softness of night. Imagine lying back, not in a hurry, not because you must sleep, but because your body naturally wants to sink into something comfortable. The memory of the rooftop becomes like a blanket, warm, weightless, familiar. Above, the faint hum of rain creates layers of sound, a distant patter on tiles, a whisper through leaves, a soft tapping on glass somewhere beyond. These sounds stack gently, one upon another, until they merge into a soothing rhythm that seems to cradle your thoughts, rocking them slowly, rhythmically, into quiet and deep inside, where overthinking usually stirs. There is only still water, unbroken, untroubled, reflecting the glow of distant light. You notice your eyelids growing heavier, not forced closed, just weighed down by comfort. Each blink takes slightly longer. Each breath flows slightly deeper. You are floating, floating in memory, floating in calm, floating in a night that asks nothing from you. The story has finished speaking now. The characters have slipped gently out of view. The rooftop remains like a lantern kept burning only for your mind. Not to excite you, not to awaken you, but to guide you deeper into softness. You sense that if you ever return to this place, on another night, or in another story, it will welcome you the same way again, quietly, kindly, as if it remembers your footsteps and has been waiting softly, without impatience. Because places built out of calm do not vanish when you leave them. They linger inside you, ready to reopen whenever your heart needs rest. And tonight, that rest is here. Your breathing slows again, in and out, like waves against a shore, or like tram tracks fading into the distance, or like rainfall easing across rooftops, steady, predictable, peaceful. You might feel the blankets around you now, the gentle weight, the familiar warmth, the way they tuck lightly against your sides, signaling safety. Your mattress supports you fully, holding every part of you without asking for strength or tension. You don't need to hold yourself up. You don't need to brace. You can melt a little more with each passing moment. Notice the way your legs feel heavier. Notice your arms relaxing into whatever position they've chosen. Notice the way your thoughts drift farther apart, like lanterns floating across a slow, wide river. There's nothing you must remember from the story, no details to keep track of, no meaning you are required to carry away. It was never meant to be analyzed, only felt gently, like rain resting against skin. And now even the rain in your memory begins to soften to almost nothing, just faint echoes, just the suggestion of sound, just enough to keep the world feeling held together by calm. If sleep arrives now, it will do so carefully, like a friend who knows how to close a door quietly. It will slip in with warmth and kindness, covering your mind in deeper night, deeper rest, deeper softness. You don't need to reach for it. You don't need to hope for it. You don't need to try. Sleep comes in its own time, and tonight it has already begun. You are safe. You are warm. You are allowed to drift. The rooftop, the lanterns, the gentle tea, the soft voices, they all fade slowly, like the last light after sunset, dissolving into peaceful darkness. The night holds you now the way the garden did, steady and unhurried. If thoughts return, the calm will hold them. If dreams begin, they will glide in softly. If silence deepens, it will feel friendly, like deep water you can float upon without fear. Everything is soft here. Everything is slow. Everything belongs to rest. And so, as the last echoes of the cafe fade into the mist, you are left not with images or words, but with a feeling of gentle safety, a feeling of quiet release, a feeling that it is okay, deeply okay, to let go of the day. Let the night cradle you. Let your breathing guide you. Let your mind slip into warmth the way embers settle into ash, glowing, gentle, peaceful. The world can wait until morning. For now, there is only calm, only warmth, only the slow, comforting hush of night wrapping softly around you as you drift and drift and drift into deep, quiet rest.